Evening, ladies and gents. My name is Njabulo and Simon. If you can see my face and hear my voice, please do raise your hand. Hands are coming through. Happy first of all, happy New Year. Hope you had a great festive season. Simon is not available tonight; is attending some funeral. So I'll be running this solo tune this evening. I'll be running through some of the trades that I've taken through the December period, the portfolio, how the portfolio is doing, etc. Some disclaimers, some weekly stuff. The weekly webinar run by ThinkMarkes. I interviewed Simon. The podcast came out this morning on the reflection over the holidays and things that he's looking to change, things he's looking to add, etc. So let's get straight into it. So before I go any further, I want to take you through the trades, how they're going so far. So the portfolio is looking quite good at the moment. Um, we at about 40 odd percent up. So a monster trade that I've been liking since we started the webinar, it is now. I took this trade for the first time in October, so it's been now 4 or so months. It found some resistance at 289 recently. I broke out of that today, and I moved my stop accordingly, just below that low of that candle there, because I was using 280R, and 280R landed me at the 284, right about that my entry point. So I just give it a little bit more room in that regard. So the risk on this trade currently it's just $20 now. So that's looking quite good. Another trade is BHP Bulletin. I entered on that break there. Um, and then I entered on that candle there. It just ran quite quickly. I'm looking to move my stop once we break out of that falling wedge there. I might be adding into this position once we break out of this falling wedge and put my stop at that 439-ish level and some change. Um, my stop will be there, securing a bit more of the profits on the upside. After which, uh, when I add into this trade, I'll still keep the same target at 524. I entered Capitec on this nice cap and handle pattern. The, the, the share broke here. Uh, that's where I entered when it broke there. It came back. Perhaps I should have waited for uh, a retest of that resistance, what was a resistance level. Looks like it's still muddling along, going nowhere slowly. I will be moving my stop to that 1020 1326-ish level there once we break through that high there. Once we close beyond 1510, I'll move my stop to 1326. Clicks. I don't know if anyone experienced a similar thing. There was some mispricing happened on the 31st at JSE. There were wigs that were coming in, but that was resolved with with the guys at the ThinkMarkes, and I re-entered into that position. Looking to move my stop to 247 once we break out of that. Once we take out that 268 high on that recent high there. Once you take out that high, I'll be moving my stop and probably looking to add into the position. Still targeting the 300-ish level. I'm still targeting that 311 level there. And Discovery looks to be trading in a range at the moment. I entered on that break. there. I entered on that break there. Yeah, entered on that break there. Um, this is the where the break happened. I entered the very next morning, looking good at the moment, looking to move my stop to below these lows here. Once we take out those highs here, and I probably will be looking to add um into this position. Just start is looking to be creating a symmetrical triangle pattern. Just remove that. A symmetrical triangle pattern. Looking to add into this position. My stop is still well out of traffic. I entered this trade back when back in August, back in September last year on a bullish engulfing candle. This was the engulfing candle that took me in. It did look to run, and at the moment looks to have paused, creating that symmetrical triangle pattern on the break there. Depending if the my weekly exponential moving averages have changed. If they haven't changed, I won't be adding to this position. I'll just be trading my stop accordingly, moving it below that low of the triangle pattern there. So I got sucked into the gold miners, being DRD and Harmony. What happened, if we can quickly pull the gold chart, as the gold miners are closely correlated to the gold price, I got sucked in that false break that happened. Let me just remove that and bring back my trend line on that false break there. I got sucked in. When that false break happened, the gold stock looked like they were going to run with that break there, but you know came straight back down. But my stop is still well out of traffic. I'm still quite comfortable in the trade. And once we break out of the 20 rand level, I'm looking to add into the position and bring my stop loss closer. Um, in that regard, I like adding, and when I'm right, I like to add into my position. I like to add into my winners. We had this nice giant head and shoulders pattern on Exaro, and we had a break, entered, it looked to not go anywhere. And then that second break, I re-entered into that position as well. So once we take out that 159 level, I'll move my stop to 142, that below that low there. Fushin is another oldie. I've been holding this position for a while. I entered on a bullish divergence rather. This is where I entered. The market looked to have rallied and now just been muddling along, trading sideways. Once we break out of that 104-ish level, I'm looking to add, should that happen, and my two weekly exponential moving average being the 30 and the 60 moving exponential moving average. If they do cross, I'll be looking to add into that Foshini trade. How many goals? Similar story. Broke, it's going nowhere slowly, but my stop is well out of traffic. So one of the two would happen. Either we're going to break higher, or it's going to continue going down and stop me out. Well, I'm still quite comfortable in that regard. So this is Mbala. I entered on the break there. This is where I entered, came back to retest. I entered into that position, and now we have what looks like an ascending triangle pattern forming there. Once we break through, let me just pull that back there. Once we break through that 260-ish level, I'm looking to add in 216. Once we break through that 216-ish level, I'm looking to add into this position and change my target. Let me just quickly change that now. Change my target to that 251-ish level on the break through on the break through that uh, 213-ish level. Once we break through that 215 level, I'm looking to add into this position and pull my stop just below that low there. Um, I'll put my stop somewhere around that 190-ish level, bringing my stop much closer to my entry. Kumbai was a similar story with what was it, clicks. Yeah, I got stopped, but that stuff has been fixed now. Yeah, that's still looking good. I'm waiting to see what's happening with this price action, but once we break through that 680-ish level, I think we're going to be off to the races. Our market looks rather bullish at the moment. I have this nice long horizontal bullish flag on multi-choice, um, and using the flagpole structure, targeting that 178-ish level. I entered on that break. Just try that. Good. Entered on that break there. Entered on the very next day. Looking to add into the position. I'm looking to pull my stop to that play to that 135-ish level. Want to take out that high there. Want to take out that high at, excuse me, 145-ish and some change. Want to take out that high. I'll be moving my stop, but for now, still relatively comfortable with the trade. Northern Platte, similar story. It did look to break today, but came back and closed below that resistance there. So once we get a close up through 216, I'm looking to add into the position and pull my stop to that 199-ish level, which will be slightly above break even. You know, once I find myself in a winning position, I like adding into that position. Real Bafokeng Platinum looks to break, but not with enough volume. So I wanted to take out that high there. It came bitterly close to stopping me out. When was it? I think this was must have been in December, on the 28th of December, and again on the 18th of December. It came bitterly close, but that 200-day exponential moving average came to my rescue, and my stop is well below that 200-day exponential moving average. So I'm also trading the laser system by Simon Brown. I got triggered. What was the trigger? Yep, this was the trigger that was the confirmation. I entered there at the close of that candle. We had another trigger there on this candle. Price through the 15-day exponential moving average, and my confirmation was a close above the trigger candle, and then the market gap down in the morning. That's where giving me a much better level to enter at. So that has been quite good. My stop is a close below this red line here, which is my 30 exponential moving average, which is now well above both entries. So once if we revert back to the 15-day exponential moving average without closing below, I'll be looking to add again into my Citrix 40 position. And we have Sibanye. So that 64 Rand level seems to be a bit of a short-term resistance at the moment. Once we break through that, I'm looking to add again into this position, and move my stop at that break-even point there. My stop will be at break-even, which means I can still add more, another 2% risk into this trade. Other stuff that's on my watch list is Tiger Brands. So Tiger Brands has been trading sideways for a minute now. So I'm looking for a breakthrough, that 215-ish level. I'm looking for a 30% break higher. So that's still looking good. Flirting with that 200-day exponential moving average wall behind it. And the weekly the 60 and the 30 looking like they're going to cross relatively soon. In which case I'll be looking to enter into this position. Another one is Rand Merchant Investment Holding. Where are they? Let me just search them here. You know, this looks like a nice giant head and shoulders pattern. Control like that there. And once we break and close above that 34 rand level, I'm looking to go long, putting my stop below the low of the right shoulder, and my target, I use the height of the head projected upwards. Means I'll be targeting, just duplicate that, targeting the 47 rand and some changes level. ShopRite has a nice cup and handle that has been developing for some time now. This nice cup and handle, looking for a breakthrough that 149-ish level. And 180, 194, 197, 223, and 267 are all my targets. But my ultimate target is of course, that 267 level on ShopRite. And my trend indicators, which is my 30 and the 60-day exponential moving average, are looking to cross are looking a bitterly close from crossing on ShopRite there. I think yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Are there any other questions coming in? I'm not seeing questions coming in. Oh, I got stopped on British American Tobacco. Entered on this bull flag here. It had a break, but I got stopped pretty much the next day. And looks like it have a triple top, which is quite interesting because that 200-day exponential moving average still again comes and holds British American Tobacco and stops it from going higher. Graham, my pleasure. Folks, I'm not seeing any. So Peter is asking what methods do I use to select companies that I'm trading. So I'm a trend follower. The first thing that I look at is the direction of the trend. I do that by picking I'm looking at the 30-day exponential moving average relative to the 60-day exponential moving average. So if my 30-day, which is this red line here, is below the the 60-day exponential moving average, I want to be short of the stock. And if it's above, I want to be long of the stock. So that's my first point of call. And then I jump into my daily charts. I want the price to be, if I want to be long, I want the price to be behind. I want the 200-day exponential moving average to be behind me. So, and then I use breakouts to trade. It's bullish flags, falling wedges, um, head and shoulders pattern, cup and handle, horizontal resistance line or support, breakout from those levels. Sasso looks quite bullish. It has been running quite recently. Nehal Nellis is asking about Sasso. Sasso looks quite bullish. But when I'm looking at my weekly chart, it looks good, man. It looks good, but I'm still not long on Sasso. Was waiting for that break there, which happened the past week. So I'm waiting for these two to cross first before I get any excited uh, um, on Sasso. Perhaps once we start to trade above that prior support level there, that will probably be the next resistance level on Sasso. So perhaps once we start to trade above the once you trade above the 249-ish level, then I could start to consider Sasol on the long side, but I wouldn't be short either. I think the market is considering the rights issue and it's trying to price in that the rights issue on Sasol. But I don't trade the news. I don't trade the fundamentals. I only trade the technicals. But I'm assuming the market is pricing in the possibility of a rights issue there. I don't use MACD. I previously I did as to try and pick a bottom using it as a divergence indicator. I think I did that with Fushimi. If we can quickly look at that, but I no longer use MACD anymore. So I normally used it to as a form of just that's too many as a form to of divergence. Just delete that. Uh, so what happened? Oh yeah, the price was making lower lows and oscillator was making higher highs. And that was but I generally don't use oscillators. I only use it a couple of times, and both times it did pay off. And there's one on Aspen. There was a nice divergence on Aspen. I think it was with the stochastic. Yeah, okay, let me just pull back the stochastic quickly. As you can see here, price making lower lows, but also later making a higher. Oh, Jesus. Also later making a higher highs. So the only way that I use stochastic and oscillators is to be careful on when the market is running quite strong to see if there's any divergences. If there's any divergences, I'd like to pull my stop quite close. Yeah, I think on Sasol above 240 is does look strong. Does look like a buy above that 240. Once we close above the 240, I'll also be looking for some price action there to go long um on Sasol there. Ladies and gents, I'm not seeing any more questions coming in. If there's any, please do feel free to pop them in. Okay. No more questions coming in. Thank you, ladies and gents, for joining us. We'll see you again next week. Do check out the podcast with myself and Simon. The link there, but I do also have the link. I did put the link on the spreadsheet under the video links. You'll find it there, and the video for tonight's um the video for tonight's webinar will be up on YouTube later this evening. Pito, you asking what would you recommend as a good starting capital? That's a great question. Fortunately, with ThinkMarkes, there's no commissions and there's no minimum, so you can start with as little as 1,000 rand. I started with 1,000 rand and continuously added into that account. And what I would say is, uh, even with a small account, try to exercise good risk management, because especially in the beginning, you'll make a lot of trading errors. You lose a bit of money here and there, and you want to live to fight another day. So with 1,000, you can get away with 1,000 rand. Okay, questions are still coming in on Sapi. Actually, Sapi is one of the trades that I'm liking at the moment. If I can, this zone here. Damn it. Okay, let me just quickly bring back the Sapi chart. That zone there looks to be between 50 and that 20 randish level. That's where Sapi looks like it always bounces back to the upside. So at I'm looking for a close above that 50 odd ish, above 50 rand. I don't think 50 rand will be the resistance on Sapi. Anonymous was asking about Sapi there. If there's no more questions, we'll park it here. Thank you, ladies and gents, for joining us. Stay safe, wash your hands, sanitize, trade well, trade with discipline. Until next time, see you again next week. Cheers. Thank you very much, guys. Glenn, you're welcome. My pleasure. Penny stocks, that's because they are not available on the platform. So the one, they're not available on the platform. Secondly, I wouldn't want to gear penny stocks because of the lack of liquidity there. And penny stocks can be quite volatile, and I don't want to be finding myself on either side of that volatility. So liquidity is an issue with penny stocks. Abraham, my pleasure. Thank you for joining us. Great. Ladies and gents, thank you very much. See you again next week. Cheers.